last thing? Would you do my voicemail?
Will I do what?
Will you do my voicemail?
Can you do his voice?
Can I do your voice right now? Okay, hang on. Hang on a second. Here's the thing. Here's my question. So you think when Krillin does the Monty was Can you hear me? That's my closest impression.
Oh, great.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me do that to you. I usually do that impression better when I have a hat.
That's what she said.
See, that's perfect, right?
I agree.
Spot on.
Thank you.
Jolly good show.
You in the back.
Okay, I got a question for you. As director of the last film,
Yeah.
how did you feel about Frank pop up the Dory song, Hey, Hey, Let's Dance All Day?
Hey, let's dance someday. That's all I remember. And that wasn't me, that was Dave Wittenberg. That's just my Dave Wittenberg impersonation. That character was all Dave Wittenberg, by the way, who also did Ponygon.
Woo!
He is a genius. He really is amazing to work with.
Yes.
But he just took that character, Parko Pangod. Hey, I'm a Parko Pangod. The original Japanese version of that song is like, let me twist your boobs, and like, it was a really dirty, filthy song. And obviously, you know, you can't do that stuff on Cartoon Network. So, I was actually, I think I don't know if I wrote Hey, Hey, Let's Dance All Day, or they told me, Hey, Hey, Let's Dance All Day. Boing, 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 all that stuff. But in Japanese, it was boobs, boobs, boobs. So we had some fun in that. I'll tell you, that show might not be the greatest show in the world, but we had so much fun working on it.
Fun, that show.
Just making fun of it too.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
We did have it, you know, it was just so outrageous and all the stuff with the Schneider. Schneider, Tony, you were Ponygon's mother. Schneider. So we, you know, in the booth we were as filthy as they were in the Japanese version, but once we got on TV, we cleaned it up. How about someone from this side? You had your hand up? Yeah, you right there. Yeah.
Today I couldn't yawn. Jeff likes to, he's a really good director, but sometimes he's just, you know, mean.
I don't like wasting time. I want to give you this.
And that's fine. It's good to be honest. But I'm still wounded from that day.
Colleen can't yawn.
I can't yawn, apparently. I just can't do it. And it was, you know, I'm like, or whatever I did, and he's like, just yawn! Yawn! Like, yawn! I can't do it when you're yelling at me! I couldn't do it.
You guys can't believe that I'm mean, can you?
Yeah. So mean. And he's like, how's your British accent? It's all right. Well, here, read this little bit. And like, I wasn't even finished. He's rolling his eyes. He's like, next. Oh, okay.
I was looking for a...
Guard, forever. Every time I go in for an audition, I have to have a British dialect. Just because I can't do British dialect, I don't know.
Colleen, I want to hear your British accent now.
Don't blame me.
So I did. I talked to him in Cockney accent every time I saw him from then on. That's a really, really bad one. Blimey, would you? You know.
Blimey.
It's not bad.
It's not good.
It's a little bit bad. Mary Poppins.
I was better.
I was looking for British royalty for that role. I'm sorry. But she hasn't let me finish. This was like 8 years ago, and she hasn't let it go. So.
Well, this is how you affect people, so maybe you should just, you know.
You consider the people's feelings
Calm it down.
when you start.
Do you have a favorite booth experience, honey?
Yeah, I was directing Tiffany Vollmer, and she flashed me in the booth once. That's the original Bulma, by the way. It's like the character rubbed off on her.
Who rubbed off on her?
The glass in the booth.
Oh.
Hello, Governor. I'm British royalty.
Beyond on command.
Can you laugh with your mouth closed?
You're hired.
Yes, I can.
You can do
I
that.
can't yawn.
John Bergmeyer can't do that.
I have to call in a yawn double.
John Bergmeyer does this. Like, just laugh. With your mouth closed. Some people can't breathe underwater.
I've told this story before. Let me just tell it real quick, where you can look it up on YouTube.
Once upon a time.
I was born.
Far away.
No, my favorite booth moment is Bob Klein, Robert N. Klein. He played Gomamon on Digimon. He played Flip the Time Detective. Hi, I'm Gomamon. So, but Bob was in the booth once doing Gomamon, and his shirt, sometimes your shirt makes a lot of noise in the booth, so you try not to wear a noisy shirt. But his shirt was very noisy that day, so he took off his shirt and he's standing there in a t-shirt. And I'm like, I'm still hearing some clothes noise, Bob, so he takes off his pants. and Bob's standing there like, you know, no pants, black socks, shoes, boxer shorts, and a little wife beater t-shirt. He's just standing there in the booth like, you know, looking at the screen with the microphone. And just then, the head of production of Fox Kids walks in. And he just looks at me at the control panel and he's like, I don't want to know.
And this is why actors don't get credited.
Naked voiceover.
You'll never think of Gomamon the same. You had a question, yes.
How did you guys get started in voice acting, and what advice would you have for someone who was maybe interested in pursuing that?
Well.
Well, I had done a lot of theater in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and had about 20 years of experience. And Funimation just moved to Dallas and had open auditions, and I landed the part of Krillin. So if you're going to go my route, I would say get as much acting experience as you can. If it's in college or, you know, professional theater or even community theater, you know, anything you can get to get those chops, especially nowadays because the industry is so much larger than when I started. So anybody you're competing against has at least 10 years of experience somewhere.
Yeah, I always just did voices, like forever. Like if there was a baby or an animal that couldn't speak, I would speak for it. I always did that. I always watched, well, when I was a kid, it was only Saturday morning cartoons. You couldn't just watch cartoons all day long, every day. I know, that crazy. Just Saturday morning. So, you know, that and Wonderful World of Disney, and that's just my thing when I got to college. And they just would come out. I was like civil, and I never even realized I was doing it. And then I was at a class, and one came out, and my teacher comes running over, was that you? I'm like, sorry, they just come out. She goes, no, you need to do voiceover. And I'm like, what the hell was that? And I went, wait a minute, you get paid to do that? I've been doing that my whole life. Excellent. So I was in Michigan, I moved out to LA, but yeah, and you need a lot of persistence, because it took me 4 years to book my first job, which was a reporter Barbie book. I was Skipper. It's fun to be a reporter. And I did the audition, and they actually just used my audition in the book, so I didn't even have to go back and do it. They just paid me. I'm like, hey. And then I got my first show. But yeah, it takes a lot of like patience and persistence, and classes are great. Theater is great. Improv. I always tell people to take improv. Once I started doing some improv, I don't know, it just frees you up, and then you're funny. So.
Listen to this voice. Doesn't she have a golden voice? I fall in love with every character she plays.
Beautiful.
And you think I'm mean to you, but you know, other actresses, when they see my list of like top actors I like to work with, and your name is number one, they get real pissed at me. So you're number one, baby.
Well, you know I'm joking, because I love working with you.
She's the best. Literally, I have trouble casting her because I fall in love with animated characters constantly every time she plays. I have these crushes. Speaking of improv, that's how I got started in voiceovers too. I was doing improv comedy in Los Angeles, and I was doing a bit where the audience would shout out celebrity impressions, and I would keep doing the scene, but in different impersonations. And someone from a cartoon called The Mutant League, based on the video game, they saw me there,